Everybody, welcome back to Tony the Mole Adams YouTube channel. Thanking you for your ongoing support this year. So far, we've just done these midweek scoops. One of them was called Mountains and Molehills, but maybe when the season starts, we'll do a second video or a third video during the course of a week. If your support continues, don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Stephen Mascord, and here he is, the mole himself, Tony Adams. Tony, how are you?
Yeah, doing well, Steve. And gee, we're almost in the February, and the countdown is beginning to Vegas, and then the season proper. It's flying.
I found a fare today, Tony, that leaves Manchester the day after the World Club Challenge and goes to Las Vegas. It's only £180, but you got 18 hours in Paris and 18 hours in Miami. And actually, that sounds like a lot of fun. May not make it to Vegas, but
book it in.
Now, your first item is about a fella called Lachlan Galvin, who I got to admit I wasn't that familiar with. Tell us a bit about him.
Yeah, look, not many people know who he is in defence of yourself, Steve, but he was an Australian schoolboy last year. The Tigers have got a lot of good young halves, but he is the next big thing. People are talking about him the way they were talking about Nathan Cleary 5-6 years ago. Now, whether he reaches those lofty heights, we'll have to wait and see. He's 18 years old. He's fresh out of school. And the Benji Marshall's plan, I think, was to sort of bring him along slowly this year, but they've got injuries to Latu Fainu and Jaden Sullivan, who one of them was expected to partner Aidan Caesar in the halves. So at the moment, we've got Aidan Caesar training with this Lachlan Galvin, and they're doing some wonderful things at training. Benji is apparently wrapped, so it'll be very interesting to see when we get closer to kickoff exactly which way Benji goes.
When I was a kid growing up in Wollongong, one of the most famous companies, you wonder where I'm going with this, was Cleary Brothers. They built the stand at the southern end of Wynn Stadium, I think, or was that Brambles? But anyway, Cleary is becoming a bit of a dynasty out Penrith way, and there's a young fella called Jett who's working his way up through the grades there.
Yeah, that's right. And let's not forget the dynasty all started with Ivan, the dad, not as a coach, but as a player way back in the what would have been the 90s probably. He was at Manly, the Roosters, the Warriors. I don't think he was at any other clubs, but before he became a coach, he was a very good centre. Now, Jett is 17. He's a halfback, and I've been watching some video of him. Plays a similar style to Nathan's, shall we say. Obviously a long way to go, but he played for New South Wales Combined Catholic Colleges last year. This season, he's going to be playing SG ball for the Panthers. There was actually a bit of a rumour going around a while ago that he was headed for the Warriors, but I think the Panthers kicked up his contract. He's staying at the Panthers, so he's one to watch, the third of the Cleary clan.
Now, by the way, you can read more about all these items. The reason we're talking about these things is because they're in Tony's column on Wide World of Sports. So there's a link to the column in the show notes. And recently, the rules over here in England to get a work visa, they're loosened so that players at a lower level than NRL or internationals can get a gig over here. Some people think that's going to cost young local players an opportunity. And certainly this fella, Ryan Rivett, he's being eyed up by a number of English clubs. Tony, he's at the Knights at the moment. Is that right? Which clubs are looking at him?
I can't say, but not because I'm being secretive, because I don't know. But I've been told by his management that, look, he played one game for the Knights last year. He's still a youngster in the halfback terms. He's only 21. But he's got Jackson Hastings and Jack Cogger ahead of him at the Knights. So, that's a bit of a roadblock there. Most NRL clubs have got established halves. So the natural thing for him to do is look at Super League. And I was speaking to the Knights today, and basically I don't think they'll be standing in his way if he wants a release. So, yeah, be interesting to see if his management can get him a start over there, because he's got some ability, I can tell you that.
Now, this final item you've got, I love it. I'm going to get the bloke's phone number off you when we stop recording. I might write a longer story about it because I loved him as a player at the Storm and the Knights, Kirk Reynoldson. And I also love a kind of a story of someone being an entrepreneur and being successful being an entrepreneur. And this is one of the best I've heard, Tony. Tell us about it.
Yeah, look, Kirk, he of the famous bushranger beard. I think that was his trademark in his career at the Storm, Knights and Dragons in the early 2000s. As we speak, he is traveling around the USA with his partner and 3 young kids in a RV. It sounds a bit like Breaking Bad meets Chevy Chase's Vacation, but
Shazam.
they're doing
Shazam
anything but
travelled around.
taking a holiday. What they're doing is they've started an app which helps users organise their busy lives online. And you and I can identify with that, Steve. There's so much going on in the world at the moment, isn't there? And you forget this and you forget that. And apparently this all started because Kirk Reynoldson copped a $1,000 fine for failing to pay his car registration. And that got him and his partner thinking, there's got to be a way that we can keep all this on track without losing money and losing track of where we are. So they've started this app called Eggy. They started it a couple of years ago. It was recently valued at $7 million. I don't know if that's 7 million Australian or US, but they're now aiming at the US market. So it's an interesting story, and I'll line you up with him, Steve. You can join the Eggy community.
And did you get a free egg out of it, Tony?
If you ask nicely, probably so.
No, but interestingly, is he going to take business meetings in his RV? I've got an idea. I've got a vision of him pulling up on Madison Avenue and outside a big skyscraper and getting Ted Turner to meet him in his RV. I got a new. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's equipped with all the latest high-tech devices. It's not the Walter White RV. We're actually just watching Breaking Bad at the moment for about the 3rd time, and that was a very primitive RV used for cooking meth. So I'm sure it's a very different RV to that one.
I've got a new computer, which means it's stopping me from interrupting you, which is very disconcerting. I don't know if the listeners can hear me interrupting you, but I was going to chime in and say Ivan Cleary was also at Norths, wasn't he? He was at Norths.
Yeah, true. He was.
And I was also
an Eagles. He was around about that time, I think. So.
And I was also chiming in to say that my favourite TV show set in an RV was Shazam, about the guy who used to travel around and turn into a superhero when he was needed. But Breaking Bad's a bit it's a bit rough for me. I gotta watch that. So it was awesome, Tony. And this weekend could be my last weekend for a while without any live rugby league. You've got as you said, you've got 3 weekends left, but the season will be upon us soon. So thanks for your time, Tony, and we'll talk again next week.
Yeah, my pleasure, Steve. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.